Hi, my name is Dr. Tina Bryson, and I am here today to answer some questions about my new book co-authored with Dr. Dan Seigel called The Power of Showing Up. Many of you may know us from our books The Whole Brain Child, or No Drama Discipline, or The Yes Brain. This book, The Power of Showing Up, is really about the research that is about 50 years worth of cross-cultural research that says that one of the best predictors for how well children turn out is whether or not they had secure attachment with at least one person. So let's talk about that. What does that mean? This is really something we can do as parents to ensure that our children do well. So what that means is that we can provide secure attachment to them. So Dan and I like to make things easy to remember because parenting is hard enough. So one of the things we talk about is the 4 S's. Some of the ways that we can help our children build secure attachment with us is by using the 4 S's, which is safe, seen, soothed, and secure. Now, first let's start about why are these 4 S's so important? Well, secure attachment is really where the child has repeated, but not perfect, experiences where their caregiver shows up for them, who really helps them feel like they've got their back and they're going to take care of them. So attachment is actually a mammal instinct. It's born into all of us as mammals. And the basic primary idea of it is that when we feel afraid or we feel hurt or we are in need, that someone will see our signals and respond to them quickly and predictably and sensitively so that we can survive. That's really the purpose of attachment. So these 4 S's, safe, seen, soothed, and secure. Let's go through each of those because this is what we can be doing every day as parents, is that in a moment, whether it's a discipline moment or your child has gotten hurt or they're having a hard time about something, or even you're just having fun with them, we want to help our children have not perfect, but repeated experiences where they feel safe, seen, and soothed so that they can build that 4th S, secure. So the first one is safe. Safe is really about 2 things. First, it's protecting them from harm. So that's pretty simple. We are pretty good instinctually about that as parents. The second part of that is that we do not become the source of their fear. And we are not the ones that are causing them to not feel safe. Some of the ways that we can do this is by screaming and yelling, by fighting with our spouse or significant other in ways that are not calm and respectful, being really unpredictable, being rough with their bodies. All of these are ways where we undermine their safety. But the good news is that, again, we don't have to be perfect. So let's talk about, as I go through each of these 4 S's, I'm going to talk about some practical things we can do to promote that. And so the first thing for safety is to first do no harm. Make sure that you are not doing things that frighten your child. Commit to not being the source of fear in your home. The second practical strategy is repair, repair, repair. What this means is that when you make a mistake, when you yell at your child, when you're impatient, when you don't handle things in ways that you feel like are even modeling how you'd want them to behave, we make things right with them. We apologize. We say, oh, I wish I had handled that differently. I'm so sorry that that was frightening for you. I'm sorry that I yelled. So this is really important that when we have a breach in the relationship or there's conflict, that we repair with them. And when we do that, it actually builds our children's resilience so that they learn that relationships can be messy and have conflict, but they can be made right again. And the third strategy for safe is to really help your child feel like your home and your relationship is a safe harbor. So the world is full of storms and chaos, but that when they come into your home and they are with you, they are in this really safe environment. So you've created an environment of safety and well-being. The second S is seen, and this is really about looking more than just with our eyes. It's about tuning into the mind behind the behavior. It's about paying attention to your child's thoughts and feelings and what's happening in their internal world. This is really important because we get so focused on behavior. And so this is really about helping our child feel like, oh, my parent understands me. They understand that I feel embarrassed, or they understand that I'm feeling unsure about this, or they understand that I'm angry. So this is a way that we can really tune in and help them feel felt and understood. So the strategies that help us promote this is first is to let curiosity lead you to take a deeper dive. Understand your child. Be curious about them. Don't just label them and put them in categories. She's my sports child. He's my artistic child. Really be curious about their thoughts and their feelings. So just really observe them and take the time to really understand and pay attention to their internal world. And the second one is to make time for it. So whether that's at bedtime or time in the car, to create space where there's not something happening and where you're not just talking, but you're creating spaces of silence and pauses to allow them to share things with you and to talk with you about what's going on in their internal world. The third one is soothed. Soothed is about helping our children, helping them calm down and comforting them. Typically, we're pretty good at this when they have physical pain, but emotionally, sometimes, or if they're having bad behavior related to those big feelings, it's a little bit harder at times as a parent to do that. This might be just offering your child a hug. It might be rubbing their back. It might just be sitting quietly with them and basically saying, I'm with you. I'm here with you. So we don't have to solve all the problems. We don't have to give in. We can still have firm boundaries, but we really are just helping them so that when they are dysregulated, our presence and us being with them helps them move back into regulation or back into a calm state. And when we do that enough times, their brain actually builds the wiring for how to do that for themselves so that they can self-soothe. The two strategies for that are, one, when your child is calm, you can help build a calming toolkit. So help them create a little space, whether it's in a closet or under a table or a little corner in a room, where you have them like maybe get a basket or a box with some books or a favorite toy, something like that. But it's basically about creating a strategy like that or teaching them how to breathe. Take a deep breath. So it's really about working with your child and creating some tools and strategies they can use later when they're having a really hard time that they can kind of pull from their toolkit. We've got lots of ideas for how to do that. And the other strategy is to offer your peace, P-E-A-C-E, which is your presence. So really just being present in the moment, paying attention to what's happening and joining with them. Engagement, that's really showing up in the moment where you're really looking at them, you're engaged, you're not distracted. A is affection. So this is hugging them, putting your hand on their arm, rubbing their back, holding them close. The C is for calm. This is really important that if we want to soothe and calm our child down, we have to be calm. We have to soothe ourselves first and make sure that we are not adding chaos or adding fuel to the fire. And the last one is E, empathy. Empathy, when we give it to our children and say, oh, that was really hard for you, or you're really feeling angry. Is that what's going on? And we offer empathy, it actually can calm down their whole nervous system. So as a quick example, my son was in the bathtub and he didn't want to get out and he was having a tantrum. And so as I was helping him get out of the bathtub, I was saying, you're so mad that bath time is over. You were really having fun and you're so disappointed. I'm so sorry that you feel so bad right now, and I'm right here with you. Now, notice I'm not saying, okay, you can stay in the bathtub. I'm helping him get out. I'm enforcing my boundary, but I'm helping him be safe, knowing that I'm predictable, seen, he's understanding that I can see that he feels disappointed and angry, and then soothing as I'm saying, I'm right here with you, and I'm hugging him. And then these three S's, safe, seen, and soothed, lead us to this fourth S of security, which is really where your brain has developed an expectation and actually wiring to expect that when we have a need, someone will see it and respond to it. So this is really where we feel secure knowing that our needs will be taken care of by the people we trust. So this is really important, and we can mess up as parents all the time as long as we repair and still help give them experiences of feeling safe, seen, and soothed so they can have that expectation, that mental model that people will be there for them. And what's great about this is then it also allows them to expect that in their other relationships, their friendships, their romantic partners down the road, so that they will have healthier relationships. And finally, when that security happens, what can happen then is that the brain wires to know how to do it for themselves. The brain has had practice with that. So they know then how to keep themselves safe, how to see and understand themselves, how to soothe or calm themselves, and finally how to offer that for other people. And one of the questions a lot of parents have is about, what about our devices? How can we really do this kind of parenting if we're distracted all the time. And really the key is that we really do need to show up and be present, not just with our bodies, but with our attention, with our minds, with our hearts. But we can't do that all the time. But we do need to make sure we have moments every day that when we are the primary caregivers, or we're taking care of our children, or we're having dinner with them, that we really are present. So I encourage us, all of us as parents, to be really thoughtful about not only how we use our devices, because we're modeling that for our children, but when we use our devices. When you are picking your child up from school, when you're dropping them off, so before separations and right after separations, it's really important that we're really present and not distracted. But also, I think it's really important that, when we use our devices, we can just say, hey, I need to look up our directions, or I'm going to call your sister really quickly and check on her, or whatever it is, so that our children know we're not just mindlessly checking out from being in relationship with them. So, it's really important, too, that we give our kids limits and boundaries so that they have opportunities to really be fully present and engaging in the world in curious ways to explore. So setting limits on our devices, but particularly as parents, monitoring when our children walk into the room to talk to us, close your computer, put your phone down, make eye contact, let them know that you are hearing them and that you are present, that they are important to you. And the truth is that when we are on our device, instead of interacting with our child, we're saying what this is right now is more important than interacting with you. And sometimes that actually is true. You may need to talk to a doctor, or you may need to schedule something, but that can be respectfully done. We can say to our child, hang on, I need to do this really quickly, and I really want to hear you. So let me finish this so that I can give you my full attention. So this is not about not using devices. It's about how and when we use our devices. Well, first of all, if you do lose your cool, just to repair with them. And that's actually another question on here, is how do we repair with them? So again, this would be about going to your child once you're calm and saying, I'm so sorry that happened. I got really mad. I didn't calm my body down before I talked to you. Do you want to tell me about it? And give your child an opportunity to share with you what their experience was and make things right. Apologize. A phrase I use all the time is, I really wish I had done that differently. And I'm going to work on that, or I try to make some sort of repair. The other thing is about, though, when they're having this tantrum or they're misbehaving, the most important thing before you can calm your child down and to not violate safety is to calm yourself first. So, lots of times it's really difficult because when our children are in these tantrums, it can be kind of contagious for us. So a couple of things we can do. One is when we breathe in and breathe out, our exhale should be longer than our inhale. So if you breathe in for a count of 5 like this, so I counted in for a count of 5 and out for a count of 8. You can find whatever number works for you, but when you exhale longer, it actually turns down the whole nervous system's reactivity. Another way that's really helpful is by listening to music. Another way we can do it is by moving our bodies, jumping jacks, push-ups, stretching. And then another thing you can do is put a hand on your chest and then a hand on your stomach and just provide a little bit of pressure and close your eyes for a moment and take a deep breath. When you do that, it actually starts calming your whole nervous system. Your heart starts beating more slowly, your muscles relax, and so that's another thing that can help. One other strategy I'll tell you that's been really helpful for so many people is that when you want to yell or you want to have a really big reaction, if you can force yourself to get on the floor, really, or on a couch or a chair, but below your child's eye level, below, not at their eye level, but below. And instead of yelling or talking too much, really only say 2 things. 1, something empathetic about how your child feels. So you're below eye level and you can say, oh, I can tell you're really mad right now. Okay, so just something empathetic, tuning into their experience, that's seen. And then this phrase, I'm right here with you. That's soothed. Now, if your child is being really out of control in their behavior, they're like, I hate you and you're so stupid, and they're being really disrespectful, we need to address the behavior, but not in that moment, because when they're having a misbehavior and big reactions, their brain is really in a reactive state. They can't even learn. That's not the time to teach the discipline lesson. So the first thing we're going to do, and we talk about this a lot in our book, No Drama Discipline, is to first calm and soothe your child through connection, through empathy, and through your own calm, so that then your child can help join you in that calm. So then you can say, you're really mad right now. I'm right here with you. And you just stay present, but you don't talk a lot. And you can ask your child, do you need help calming down? Would you like a hug? You can do some comforting words. But then once your child is calm again, that's when you say, hey, we need to talk about what happened earlier, and that behavior is not okay. How can you make things right with me or your brother or whatever? So really making sure that you stay calm first. If you as a parent find that you are really reactive in ways a lot, in ways that you do pretty intense reactions where you think you may be causing harm, it's really important you get some help and support. Because what's happening for you is your brain is going into these reactive states, and there may be some things from your past that are contributing to that. So it might be really helpful to have some support or some therapy to really look at and work through some of that, those earlier issues in your life that may be influencing why your brain is in such a reactive state. So one of the ways that we can set limits and boundaries and still show up for our kids is, again, tuning into that mind behind the behaviors. When we set boundaries, those kinds of boundaries make things really predictable for our kids. And so that can help them feel safe. So if your child is doing something that is not okay, like they've just hit one of their siblings, in that moment, we can still say, that's not okay to hurt your brother. And I know it's not okay to do that. So what was happening for you? You were feeling really angry. Tell me about that. How did you feel that in your body? It's okay to be mad, but it's not okay to hurt somebody. So what can you do next time to express your anger and handle your anger in a way that doesn't hurt someone else? And then you brainstorm with your child. If your child is really little, you're probably not going to have that lengthy of a reflective dialogue, but you can address the feelings, address the behavior, and then move on. So you could even say, let's say you have a 2-year-old who just bit you. You can say, ouch, biting hurts, no biting. You were feeling frustrated? You can ask mommy for help. Now, let's go outside and look for some birds. So you're addressing the behavior, you're addressing the feelings, but then you're moving on because you don't want to give too much attention to the misbehavior. So showing up, remember, is not about being perfect. It's really about being present, tuning into your child's experience, and responding to them in ways that make them feel safe, seen, and soothed, even in the discipline moments. And this actually will make it more likely that they can learn. If your child is a teenager or young adult or even older than that, it is never, ever, ever too late to start making this change. So this research is full of hope. Number one, it says that our history is not destiny. If you grew up in a family where you were not safe, seen, and soothed, and you had not what's called a secure attachment, but a more insecure form of attachment, where your thoughts and feelings were ignored, or your parent didn't do a good job of keeping you safe or helping you be soothed, just because that happened to you, your history is not your destiny. So as soon as you start making sense of those experiences and reflecting on them, it can start changing your brain. And you can start making changes in your relationship with your child. So as soon as you start helping your child feel more safe, seen, and soothed, they will start moving more and more toward that secure attachment. And it's never, ever too late. Start doing that now. Some of the ways we can do this with our teens is through listening better, not being so distracted on our devices, not talking at them as much as we are listening, leaving them little notes that say, hey, I hope you have a great day today, or doing something kind for them, making a favorite meal, having them, do something with you, not where you're staring into their eyes and having a conversation, but cooking with you. Let's make cookies to surprise your friend, going out for a walk. Finding things to do to connect with them. But I think with teenagers, seeing often requires us to tune in and realize that they may not want us to sit next to them, hold their hand, stare into their eyes, and talk about their feelings all day long. Sometimes seeing means that we're tuning in and saying they need a little space right now. and to say to your kid, hey, it looks like you need a little space right now. I'm going to respect that, so that they know that you see them and understand them. When we have conflict with our kids or teenagers, I think, again, we can just say it. There's a strategy we talk about in The Whole Brain Child called Name It to Tame It, where we can really just say, you know what? Things don't feel great between us. I can tell that you're mad at me. I can tell that there's conflict here. And I'm not too worried about that because I know we will work it out. And we can either talk about it now, or I can give you some time and then we can talk about it later. So I think just call it out. And again, be willing to, even if they have wronged you and they are in the wrong, to say, you're really mad, I will listen, and sit down and just be open. If you react and yell when they tell you what they think and feel, even if you disagree with it, even if you think it's ridiculous, then you're giving them the message, it's not that great to share things with me. When you share your feelings and thoughts with me, I'm going to react in big ways that are really unpleasant for you. So that's not the response we want to give them. So we need to make sure we're really grounded. Then we go to them and we are open, that we listen, that we're curious, and that they have a good experience having shared something with us, so that their brain says, that wasn't so bad. Maybe I'll share more with her the next time. We can really teach our children how to show up for themselves, how to feel safe, seen, and soothed for themselves, how to do it with others. As we teach our children empathy by when we're reading stories with them or we're out in the world, we're giving attention to things like, oh, look, that man's carrying all those packages. Let's go open the door for him. Or when we're reading with them, what do you notice about that little bear's face? He looks like he doesn't feel very happy. What do you think he's feeling? And we help them give attention to other people's minds. So Dan Seigel talks about this idea of mind sight, and we write about it in all of our books. And it's the idea of tuning into your mind and the minds of others. We can teach that to kids. It's really important that we know that the experiences we provide wire the brain. So if we want them to be empathetic and think about how other people feel, we need to give them practice doing that. That's really how simple neuroplasticity is that what fires wires. And so we can give them experiences of tuning into their own minds, tuning into the minds of others, and that can build empathy and the ability to show up for themselves and others. I hope all of these are really helpful strategies for you. I hope you will check out the book, The Power of Showing Up, as well as our other titles, The Whole Brain Child, No Drama Discipline, and The Yes Brain. You can find me on my website, tinabryson.com.